Summary of The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. This novel is about a narrator who tries to figure out what the strange Phantom of the Opera is doing and who he is. People began to think that the Paris Opera House was haunted in the 1880s because of the strange things that were happening there. People say that the opera ghost or phantom looks like a black figure with rotting, yellow skin on its face that looks like a skull and eyes that are on fire. The narrator says right from the start that the phantom does exist and is a real person, not a ghost. Some ballerinas say they saw the opera ghost on Debian and Poligny's last night as directors in the 1880s. This caused a lot of trouble. Soon after, Joseph Bouquet, the head stage machinist, is found dead and hanging under the stage. He is said to have died by suicide under natural circumstances, but when people come to get his body, they can't find the rope. The narrator comes to the conclusion that these events are not at all natural and that there must be a reason other than suicide. On the same night, Christine Daaé, a singer who isn't very well known, fills in for Carlotta, who is sick. People are still amazed by Christine's beautiful voice and wonder why her ability has been kept from them for so long. Behind the scenes, Christine's childhood friend Viscount Raul de Chagny, who is truly in love with her, goes to talk to her. Christine acts like she doesn't know him, though, and Raul later hears her talking to a man in her changing room. Christine tells the man that she has given him her soul after he tells her he loves her. Raul is angry at Christine and can't wait for her to leave so he can face her rival. But when the door opens, Raul is shocked to see that Christine's dressing room is empty. Christine writes Raul a lot of letters, and in the end, Christine answers that she does remember him after all. They met as kids in the Normandy town of Perros-Guirec, and she tells Raul that she will be there. Raul rushes to meet her there. During the trip, Raul thinks about their youth. In Sweden, Christine's dad was a musical genius and was thought to be the best violin player in Scandinavia. When Professor Valerius saw how talented he was, he took Daaé and Christine to Paris, where Christine quickly became good at music as a singer. The two met on trips to Normandy, where Christine lived. They heard stories from Christine's father and local Breton tales together. Christine could not get the story of the angel of music out of her mind. This angel can make musicians into great artists. Raul tells Christine he loves her at Perros, but she laughs at him. He then hits her because she was in her changing room talking to a man. Christine leaves because she is upset. But later, she tries to tell Raul what's going on. She tells him that the angel of music has come to see her because her father sent her after he died. Christine isn't using a figure of speech when she talks about the person who teaches her music in her dressing room. When Raul sees this, he starts laughing out loud. Raul no longer thinks she is a respectable woman, which means she doesn't let men into her changing room by themselves. This makes her very angry. Christine goes away. Raul hears Christine leave the inn that night to go to the graveyard. She is too focused on her work to notice that he is following her. Christine suddenly raises her arms to the sky in front of her father's grave in the graveyard. Out of nowhere, the beautiful, heartbreaking sound of Daaé playing Lazarus on his violin when they were kids comes from nowhere. Raul follows a strange man all the way to the church after the music stops. He thinks the man is the musician. This is where Raul grabs the man's coat. When the man turns around, Raul sees a head with eyes that are on fire. Raul faints because he thinks this must be a picture of hell. He is found unconscious by the church the next morning. At the same time, Richard and Moncharmin, the new leaders of the opera, are annoyed to receive letters from the Phantom, which they think are a joke. The box office worker, Madame Giry, is fired because she says she has personal experiences with the ghost, which the directors see as proof that she is crazy. In his letters, however, the Phantom asks many things, including that his private box, Box 5, remain empty, that Christine sing Marguerite and Faust instead of Carlotta because she is sick, and that Madame Giry, who is in charge of his box, come back. The Phantom says that he will curse the theater if his wishes are not met. The makers don't listen to what the Phantom says. Carlotta gets a letter from someone she doesn't know telling her not to perform, but she still chooses to sing. Because of this, the Phantom punishes her by making her voice break in the middle of the performance. This is so shocking that the audience thinks there must be some kind of plot because Carlotta's voice is too perfect for it to break on its own. After that, the Phantom makes the chandelier fall from the ceiling. It crushes and kills Richard's housekeeper, the woman he was going to replace Madame Giry. Christine will not be seen again after this evening. Raoul looks for her everywhere. Professor Valerius's wife, Madame Valerius, has been taking care of Christine since she was a kid. When he questions her, she says that Christine is spending time with her guardian spirit, the Angel of Music, who teaches her music and has told her she can't get married. Raoul thinks the old woman is crazy and that her crazy belief in fairy tales may have affected Christine as well. Raoul, on the other hand, feels both angry and sorry for Christine at different times. He isn't sure if Christine is being manipulated by someone else or if she is the one doing the manipulating and wants to trick him into thinking she is having an affair. Then Christine writes Raoul a letter telling him to meet her at the masquerade ball that night. Around that time, Christine tells him she loves him and wants to tell him her story. Raoul knows that he might be overreacting by not believing her, but he can't hold it in anymore because he is so jealous and scared. He gets angry with Christine and says she is lying. Christine gets angry and leaves. She then cries over a guy named Eric, and Raoul hides in her dressing room. There, he hears her and sees her disappear through the mirror as if by magic. Even though he is completely lost, Raoul is able to find Christine at the opera again. Raoul tells Christine there that he is soon going to leave on a trip to the North Pole. And when he finds out that they love each other back, they decide to become secretly engaged for the short time they have left together. Christine takes Raoul to the roof one night and tells him her whole story. She says that the first time she heard a beautiful voice talking and singing to her, she thought it was the Angel of Music her dad had promised to send her. But the night the chandelier fell, Christine thought she was on the other side of her dressing room mirror and turned around. She found herself in a damp, dark cave. Someone in a mask led her to his hideout on the other side of an underground lake. Christine was very upset when she realized that this man was the same as the voice and must also be the opera ghost. The man wasn't an angel, though, he was just a normal person named Eric, who then told her he loved her. But even though she thought he was crazy, his music made her feel something. She forgot her word not to touch Eric's mask and took it off one time while he was singing. She was horrified when she saw a horrible, skull-shaped face that scared her. Eric was angry and sad about how Christine reacted, so he planned to keep Christine with him forever. After a couple of weeks, he finally let her go, but not before giving her a ring to show how loyal she was and telling her she had to visit him often. Raoul thinks that they should leave right away after hearing this story, but Christine says that this would make Eric too upset. It's agreed that she will run away with Raoul the next night, but she says she might give up and need Raoul to push her to follow him. Eric has been listening in on this talk and knows what the characters are planning, but neither of them knows it. So, Raoul gets his carriage ready so that he and Christine can leave the next night. Raoul's older brother, Count Philippe, is a respectable aristocrat who follows social norms. He knows that Raoul wants to marry Christine and tells him that he doesn't like the idea of him dating Christine, who is just a singer and not a member of the nobility. This makes the brothers fight, which leads criminal agents Inspector Mifroid and M4 to wrongly believe that Philippe's death and Raoul's disappearance must have been linked to the fight between the brothers. Christine is quickly taken away that night while she is performing. Raoul joins hands with a mysterious person named the Persian, who knows Eric very well, in order to find her. The Persian leads Raoul to Eric's secret hideout, but they get lost in a torture cell with walls covered in mirrors that can make strange illusions. A Punjab cord is found there. This is the rope that the Persian thinks was used to kill Joseph Bouquet. He thinks that Bouquet found Eric's hideout, which made Eric angry, which made Eric kill Bouquet. The Persian also talks about important parts of Eric's life. He says Eric left his family because they didn't like how he looked and went to work as an illusionist and killer for the Shah in Persia, where he learned how to torture people very well. Eric was one of the people who helped build the Palais Garnier, which is the name of the opera house in Paris. He was able to build a complicated network of walls and traps that let him move around like a ghost and come and go whenever he wanted. While they are being tortured, Raul and the Persian hear Eric tell Christine that she can marry him or die. Christine first plans to kill herself to stay true to her love for Raul, but she later learns that Eric has plans to blow up the opera house if she turns him down. She agrees to marry Eric because of this. She tells Eric to let Raul and the Persian out of the torture cell, and he does. Christine is still determined to keep her word to marry Eric, even though she is horrified by how he looks. Eric starts to cry when he takes off his mask and kisses her on the face. He says that no other woman has ever let him touch her like this. Christine starts to cry too. Eric is deeply moved by this and sees that he no longer wants to hold Christine against her will. He is sure that this is a sign of Christine's love. He decides to set her free so that she and Raul can leave without any trouble. She agrees to put the ring he gave her on his finger after he dies. Losing love, when Eric goes to see the Persian, he tells them what happened, and the Persian then tells the reporter what happened. Eric says that Count Philippe died while crossing the underground lake to save his brother. Eric, on the other hand, says he had nothing to do with Philippe's death because he found the Count already dead. Once Eric has died, the Persian puts an ad in the papers about it. Later, when the narrator finds a body under the opera wearing this ring, he understands that Christine did what the Phantom asked her to do before she died, and that this body is proof beyond a doubt that the Phantom of the opera existed.
About the author. Leroux was born in 1868 in Paris. He grew up in Normandy and moved back to Paris at the age of 18. He became a lawyer there and wrote about cases for a newspaper to make extra money. He became a well-known writer after writing about an anarchist attack on the Chamber of Deputies. This led to him becoming the legal columnist for Paris's most important newspaper. He was already a well-known and skilled writer when he was sent to Russia in 1905 to cover the bloody 1905 Russian Revolution that led to the 1917 Russian Revolution. After 2 years, he released a detective book called The Mystery of the Yellow Room in several parts. This story, in which the main character tries to figure out how an assassin could get out of a room that was locked from the inside, was so popular that Leroux quit news to focus on writing fiction. Because he had been a lawyer and a reporter, he could describe crimes and secrets in great detail. He became famous as a writer who specialized in detective stories. In 1909 and 1910, he released parts of The Phantom of the Opera in magazines. During his lifetime, he wrote and published over 40 novels and short stories.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.